Yeah, Ilkay Gundogan looks like he's fallen out at Barcelona. Barca willing to allow him to leave just a year after he joined from Manchester City. And he could potentially be on his way back there. We saw him at the Euros playing for Germany, of course. In the course of the summer, he made over 300 appearances for City, won 14 major honours. They say never go back, Ali. But is this an exception?
I don't think it'd be a problem at all. I think he's one of these players. Thought he was terrific in the Euros. He played with Wirtz and Havertz, Füllkrug, and I thought he was superb. I think he is an unbelievably talented footballer. Remember his performance in the cup final, I think it was against United. He scored a couple of goals. I know they say never go back, but do we think Gundogan could go back into that Manchester City squad, not look out of place, look as though he'd never left? Yes, I think he could.
Let's get more on this now with European football expert Kevin Hatchard. Morning, Kev.
Good morning, Kev.
Morning, gents. How are we?
On top form, mate.
Good, thanks, mate. So, what's gone wrong for Ilkay Gundogan at Barca?
It's not that it's gone personally wrong for him. He had a perfectly good season, the kind of standard we're used to seeing from him. Obviously part of a Barcelona team that was enveloped in chaos, as is always the case. We had the farce with Xavi, the coach, saying that he was going to go. Then they asked him to stay, and then they sacked him, effectively. So you've had all of that going on in the background. I think Gundogan was quite shocked by some of the things he saw. There was a really interesting interview he gave after they lost El Clasico to Real Madrid, and he talked about how he didn't understand why his teammates weren't more angry about it. So he did his bit. He got goals, he got assists, all of the kind of football that Ali talked about at the Euros. But the basic truth of it is that they don't have a lot of wriggle room when it comes to the finances. They're still hugely in debt, Barcelona. They have worked to try and get the wage bill down, but struggling to register Dani Olmo, who's the new signing. And that's effectively what they've done. They've created a logjam in those attacking midfield positions. Dani Olmo's a player they did not need, absolutely did not need. But what they've done is they've brought a guy back who came through La Masia, who was at Barcelona. He's the shiny new thing because he played really well at the Euros for Spain. Who's the other shiny new thing? Well, Lamine Yamal have already got, so they wanted Nico Williams. That's been rumbling on for ages, but it just does not seem as though they can get near to affording it.
It's amazing that you're talking about. It's funny getting back to the Euros, Kev. The injury, it's actually every chance we might not have seen Dani Olmo if it hadn't been to Toni Kroos's tackle on was it Pedro?
On Pedro, yeah.
Was amazing, and then went on to have a fantastic Euros. But regarding Gundogan again, I mean, it's an automatic thing we're talking about. We think he'd go back to Manchester City. Would Pep be interested, do you think?
Oh, hugely, I would think. Because, I mean, this is a top player and a late developer when you think about it. I mean, this is a guy that had some really serious injuries that he had to battle back from. And he's just got better and better and better. And working with Pep developed him into a slightly different player from what he was before, and a much more effective player. And I think he would slot back into it at Manchester City, no doubt about it. I think it'll be a shame from his point of view that it hasn't quite worked out at Barcelona. He knows Hansi Flick really well, the Barcelona coach. Flick was asked about it, and he said that he'd spoken to Gundogan and his feeling was that he would stay. But Barcelona are open to try and get some players off the wage bill and try and level things up because, again, they've made a move that's, looks fun, is politically good, bringing Dani Olmo back, but doesn't make a huge amount of sense.
Just a quick word, Kev, on Joao Felix, who of course was on loan at Barca last season, wasn't he? What sort of season did he have?
Started really well. Started like a man who was having a bit of a reset and a fresh start. Was desperate to get away from Atletico. And that's still the case, really. You have to go back to the signing in the first place. Joao Felix, when he came through at Benfica, such an exciting player. Incredible talent, that movement, that technique, that ability, but never felt like a Simeone signing, never felt like somebody who was going to really shine with what Simeone wants to do. You look at Antoine Griezmann, for example, his work rate is insane. He will run until he drops, all the things that he does. Now, that sets a very, very high bar. And that's what Simeone expects. And I don't think Joao Felix has met that. And that's not even necessarily his fault. So he's desperate to go. Atletico are happy to cut their losses. And obviously it looks as though Chelsea have swooped in and and facilitated that. But I talked about Dani Olmo. Barcelona didn't need him. Chelsea don't need Joao Felix.
I think it's spot on. Just a quick one on La Liga. Obviously, got off to a great start. Barca 2-1 victory at Valencia. Lewandowski a couple of goals. And Real Madrid didn't get it all their own way. Went 1-0 up with Rodrigo, but pinned back.
Yeah, not an easy place to go, Mallorca. And, they had some nice moments. I think it's early days with Rodrigo, Vinicius and Mbappe. That'll come. I do believe that'll come. And I think actually the most exciting thing about what Ancelotti's done in terms of working out how this is going to work is he's kept Rodrigo. There was a lot of talk about Rodrigo coming to the Premier League. I think that guy is so underrated. We talk about Vinicius Junior, we talk about Mbappe. Rodrigo delivers time and time and time again. Scored a brilliant goal against Mallorca. I think they're going to be the team to beat. I know that's not a big surprise. Jude Bellingham's position's interesting. Some really good runs from midfield. I think he's going to get a lot of goals still, a lot of assists. I watch this space. I think they're going to be great.
Kev, thanks very much.
Smashing,
indeed.
Kev.
Cheers, gents.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.